What's up, Jinzo? How you doing, man?
Good, bro. It's been a hot week, man. It's looking good in here. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Obviously, a lot of missed opportunities, but at the same time, they're all flying in front of our face. So there'll be many more. We just got to grasp them.
Yeah,
What about you, bro?
man. Yeah, I'm doing good for sure. Been I made some mistakes for sure, but thankfully it's like everything's ripping hard enough that I've made up for them. So, but we can definitely get into it. Funny here. Yeah, Whiff just got fucking listed on Coinbase right before we started here.
That's good. It's gonna touch into so many things that we were already gonna discuss, because we're seeing a lot of these exchanges listing coins, something that we never saw in the past. And I guess we could start with that actually. One of the messages I wanted to pass was, we're probably gonna see a lot more of coins being listed on these exchanges because they're starting to realize that they're missing out on a lot of gains from avoiding meme coins, right? And it's a whole sector that's taking up all the attention right now. So, and obviously with the whole with the focus changing towards crypto in the United States, they're feeling a little bit less risky. They're feeling a little less in danger when they post like a coin or whatever on their platform that they wouldn't in the past. I think they're taking a little bit more risk, but they're also trying to catch that upside. So I think it's becoming a little bit impossible to ignore for them. And you're seeing a lot of these exchanges that in the past never would list a coin like this just run to list them. So we're seeing Kraken, we're seeing Coinbase, we're seeing even Binance list many more meme coins that honestly in the past you would have never seen them list a 20 million market coin. But now they're seeing that they need to capture that upside and that they can control the market on these coins. So that's what they're doing. They're starting to list them more frequently and starting to offer that product to their user base, because we know that like we see it a little differently because we're mostly dex traders, right? So we think we're like the majority, but we're not. I mean, I think dex traders, I have to check the stats, but I wouldn't be surprised if we only make up really only 10% of actual traders, right? If you think about it, most people only use sexes, centralized exchanges. Even if you ask your friends, I bet you if they're not all degens, they're maybe 9 out of 10 will tell you, yeah, I've never done anything on a dex before. They'll use an exchange mostly. So by having these coins readily accessible on exchanges, what happens is we need to now change our targets and change our focus a little bit. Where before we'd think maybe a coin 100 to a billion was the cap. Well, a lot of these exchanges, a billion is actually the floor for these coins. So when they get listed, and you see like what happened with Act or with PNUT on Binance, this is something I used to see a lot in the past too, and I just didn't click on this because I haven't traded on exchanges in a while. But I used to look for these opportunities when I was a normie too. I used to look on Binance and only trade on Binance, and I'm like, oh, new coin, nice. It's only 300 million. This is a good opportunity for me. Before everybody else notices that there's a new coin on Binance, let me buy up the floor. So I used to do that and then wait a few days and I'd make a killing on my return. And we're seeing the same thing now with PNUT. We're seeing the same thing with Act, where in our minds, since we were used to a cap of, let's say, a billion or 500 million on decentralized exchanges, it kind of limited our thinking when, like, we were never thinking, oh, now normies have it in front of them, it could go much higher, like Pepe did, like Whiff did when they hit 2 coin, right? But that's where we need to kind of change and shift our focus. We need to realize two things. First, exchanges are listing coins at a much more rapid rate than they used to be, so our caps are much higher. And two, they're starting to put these coins in front of many people that think of different targets than we do. So yeah, I think our whole focus needs to shift and realize that we're lucky enough to get these coins earlier than everybody else, and some that we hold or some that are going to come out eventually are going to hit exchanges and will have a higher potential than they used to, right, to hit exchanges. And yeah, I mean, we need to stop coping on the coins that we missed and start realizing that the opportunities are in front of us for coins that are either going to come out or coins that are already here that might get listed in the future. It's just the game changed basically.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a really good perspective. I and like when I joined crypto, I never like traded on exchanges pretty much ever. I like actually like I was baptized into the on-chain life like pretty quickly. Um so I don't really think about like I don't really have that like perspective of just like only trading on a exchange, but you're right, that is incredibly common for it's probably like the majority, especially right now. I would say with like how many new people are coming into crypto, or at least like coming back from the previous cycle because they see like all the mania that's happening right now. Like a majority of trading is going to happen on these exchanges. It'll happen on Coinbase, happen on Binance, and it'll happen on Robinhood now too, which I think is another big kind of new player to look out for these listings. Like we saw this morning, Robinhood was the first one to list Pepe before Coinbase announced it. And there's a huge candle on Pepe before that, and then there was the second one coming when Coinbase announced. So yeah, really good perspective. I think in general, like a lot of these coins, like there's probably like a pretty natural like next movers if you're paying attention for some of these. Like Popcat, I think it would be like the painfully obvious one right now. That and Flog, I bet too, and probably. I mean, I think did Go get listed on Binance? I can't remember. Has that got listed yet? That's another one too. I think like those three are like the main ones that stick out to me as like the next candidates. Um, but just in general, like it just makes a ton of sense that these exchanges are now willing to take more risk. Because with Trump elected now, they're not as worried about the government just like being overly harsh and overly critical of these new listings. They're kind of like willing to risk it more. I think you're going to see that across crypto in general with DeFi protocols, with new coins, whatever. Like there's going to be companies that are taking a lot more risk than what they normally did, because there's less fear of enforcement action coming against them.
Yeah, the gates are open, right? And they're taking risk. And in reality, are they even really taking a risk when we're seeing so many people do so many crazy things in the shitcoin streets, and they're not even getting prosecuted? So what are they really going to come after in exchange for listing a meme coin that has probably, like,
Right.
you know what I mean, a higher holder count than some of these other coins do, and have less of a chance of rugging, and actually are, I wouldn't say up only, because there's always risk with meme coins, but they have a chance to establish a new sector in crypto before any other exchange, right? They're basically legitimizing it and seeing the value behind them. So I mean, yeah, it's fun. It's good to see that it's not just huge risk assets anymore, where they're actually going to be put in front of millions of people, and not just just the degens basically of the cycle.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Sorry. Just for like a recap for people who haven't been like entirely locked in. Um, to make sure like what we're talking about. These big exchanges, Coinbase, and Binance are really the two main ones. Um, Obviously, I'm sure all of you guys have heard of them, but when they list a new token, that just increases the buying power of that token by a huge amount. Like obviously, it just makes it super easy for a person to come on. Like they don't have to create their own wallet and navigate and like find the contract address of the right token, right? Like figure out what website they need to go to buy and swap and like get sold first or whatever. Like they can just deposit from their bank account and buy right there, right? So it's obviously a lot easier to do so on these big exchanges, and these exchanges are trusted, right? Crypto is obviously a place of a lot of scams. Like people who have dabbled in crypto have encountered those scams in the past, right? So they want a lot of people want that safety of a big custodial entity like a Binance or a Coinbase. So there's just so many people on these different exchanges. So when a new coin gets listed on there, especially a meme coin, it just becomes a big deal, right? There's a lot of new buying power. It's usually a bullish signal. So that's why a lot of these coins have been pumping when there is a new listing involved, and that's why a lot of people are looking for kind of like the next coins that could be listed, because you obviously want to front run uh, that announcement in the first place. So there have been already examples that you can easily go and look back on, like PNUT, Boodang, and Act, which is like the most random one for me. It was like a $20 million coin that Binance listed. Um, but Those were all like that was the active was 20 million. The other ones were like 100 or so million at the time. Um, and those all got listed within the last like week or two, and they pretty much instantly like 3 to whatever x like went crazy since then just because of that buying power, and that's a really good signal that Binance is willing now to list these lower market cap coins, and people have now seen how crazy they go. Um, when it does happen, that just gives more room for people to speculate on these new coins, which I think just in general just increases like the risk on environment for all of these big coins because people are going to be constantly chasing whatever the next one is going to be, right? And then on the Coinbase side, Coinbase doesn't usually list like new stuff like pretty much ever, unless it's like an established company. Definitely not new like meme coins. The only coins they listed previous to today was Bonk and Doge and maybe like Sheeb or something. I think they have like three total meme coins on their platform, so it's a big deal when Coinbase lists a meme coin because they have like none on there, and obviously Americans can't access Binance, so that's all like the American money coming in through Coinbase. So obviously, like now that they listed with and Pepe, that's a really nice sign that they're probably going to list more, and they're more willing to. Because I think these are the first ones they're listing this cycle outside of Bonk, which they listed, I don't know, 6 months to a year ago or so. Um, yeah, so that's just a rundown. I would say, again, like the coins that I would expect Coinbase. I would say Coinbase and Binance are a little different. The ones that I expect would think Coinbase would be most likely to list next would be like Popcat. Some of the more established ones, I don't think they're going to list like a brand new one. Popcat would be one for sure, and then maybe like a Fwog, um, maybe a Nero as well. I'm not sure what else. Maybe they'll do a PNUT and Mudang too. Now that those have been more established as well. Those are kind of ones I could see. And then I think Binance will be a little bit more risky on the riskier side. Like they could go a little bit more down the risk spectrum. Um, so maybe like go. I'm not sure. Definitely like Popcat for sure. And some others. So I'm sure I'm missing some big ones in there as well. But yeah. Anything else on the exchange stuff?
Yeah, Binance is just gonna find the randomest coin and list it and control it. That's what we've been seeing. Oh, let's get this one. It's dead. Let's buy it. But yeah, on the exchange side. So again, on the mentality side of it, no, like us, like I said before, right? We think that 100 million is high, but when they want to take advantage of these and list them because now they know that, you know what I mean. First of all, their bags pump. The exchange themselves, like they're buying a big bag of it to list, and they know they're making multiple X's. They're like the biggest DJs in the space. They're just gonna, oh, you know, we could buy this coin and control it. And all of a sudden, our bag is worth billions of dollars because we have the entire supply and it's on our platform. So there's incentives there for them to be doing these things, you know. And yeah, but so the way I think it's probably going to go is I think Coinbase is still going to be a little bit more weary of what they list. So I think they'll be more of a second mover. We might get Coinbase listings on coins that might hit other exchanges first. I don't think that's going to change, and it could change. I mean, but I'm not going to believe it until I see it. So if I see Coinbase list a coin that's just random that we think is good, like a Popcat that's listed nowhere or almost nowhere yet, or any other coin that's still on dexes and not on centralized exchanges yet, until I see them actually listing one of those, I won't believe that they'll do it. They'll probably want to see what other exchanges are doing first, and then list those and try to leech or vamp some of the volume. But I would think now that Binance is establishing itself as one of the first movers for the T1s, KuCoin has always done it too. They've been quick to list a lot of different coins. So I'm thinking it might start with those and then move on to Coinbase and stuff when they see that people are interested, and maybe they're a bit less degen in nature. So I think maybe Binance is the one to watch. And the one thing that we can start doing from now is instead of focusing, like, okay, yeah, we're still going to focus on our shitcoins. We love the gamble. We love the high upside of it. But we're going to have to start maybe hunting down transactions, right? They're not accepting any more funds. Like Binance now is listing things for free. They don't. Before they used to require, let's say, $1 million to even list. But now you even saw the CEO of Binance come out and said that they took 0% from Pepe and 0% from oh no, not Pepe, sorry, from Peanut and from Act when they listed it, it was 0% fees. So that's a huge change. That's what people need to realize. It's a huge change from their past mentality of always requiring an entry fee and a certain amount of coins to be listed. What this means is we're going to see a lot more pump fund tokens actually get listed, which is crazy. That means your coin that you bought last week for less than 100,000 might be the one to be listed if they like it, right? So it opened the door to a lot of different coins. And yeah, I was going somewhere else with that, but I forgot. It was basically that's it. Just that they're opening the door to a lot of these coins, and anything could happen, really. I mean, we're. Oh yeah, I was thinking about hunting down on chain. So even Mad Foxy was doing it. He was seeing big buys come in from certain accounts that were linked to exchanges, even on Peanut. He showed us that information. We just kind of ignored it, I guess, in a way because we thought, okay, it's a political coin. It's done. Let's move on to the next. But we could start looking for that type of information when odd buys come in on a certain coin, and start digging into those transactions and see. I'm sure a lot of people are going to start doing these forensics on these tokens to try to get an edge and try to identify which one might be listed next and on which platform. So the game is changing. It's just we're always pivoting here in MVHQ, and I think this is another pivotal moment in crypto where we need to take advantage and find an edge where other people might not be doing it.
Yeah, one thing I didn't mention too is I think Robinhood will probably be a little bit more degen if I had to guess than Coinbase in terms of what they list. So I could see Robinhood list some stuff before Coinbase does. Um, some of the smaller stuff.
Yeah, I agree, and that's a big one too. We can't ignore Robinhood. We remember what they did last cycle for when they were listing things and getting more involved. So yeah, floodgates are open. I can't wait to see what happens here.
Sweet. Hell of a crowd. Love to see it. I'm glad we got so many degens here in MVHQ. We're gonna have a great time this cycle, man. I'm so excited. Do you guys have anything else? Anyone in the crowd, anyone in the community want to touch on uh, coins as they relate to exchanges before we move on to a different topic? Cool. We can move on. And yeah, this is gonna be a relatively like pretty open forum. If you want to jump in, feel free to the chat. Jinzo and I are obviously pretty relaxed people. We're kind of just shooting the shit, and we want you guys to join in on the combo too. So feel free to jump in anytime if you have something you want to chime in about. Yeah, I want to talk about man, we have a lot of stuff on the list. I wanted to talk about I guess what our current expectations are for on-chain stuff over the next coming days, maybe weeks, maybe rest of the year. Um, Jinzo, do you have like any change in your game plan considering this new kind of market that we're in, where we're having a lot of the big coins really running. There's been obviously some crazy Mooners shared in MVHQ. I mean, everyone's given. I mean, T Money scanned Peanut at like 300K and market cap that's like a 5,000x. Absolutely, it's absolute insanity. Wish I would have held. I think my bag would be worth like 20 million right now or something if I held. But we move eyes forward. But yeah, man, is there anything you're doing differently or any like mindset change for you? Given this like current environment we're in, where things are pretty crazy right now.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, I think everything has changed. I was fast flipping and scalping because I still had the bear market mentality where I thought everything was going to crash eventually, but it's starting to seem like it's more safe now to just hold bags, and especially moon bags. Like I'm sure a lot of people in here get caught all the time with, oh, I need more liquidity. Maybe it is time to cut this moon bag. And then all of a sudden, you're probably losing that soul into a degen coin that was a very, very, like, very risky play. And that moon bag does another 10 or 15 or 5,000x. So, so I've been changing my mentality a little bit. I've been trying to hide those moon bags and having to rotate less, really. I think we were already onto something when we were mostly uh, aiming for coins that had high potential, like a peanut that we loved the animal even before it died, or even a Mudang where we knew it was viral. Like these were obvious plays. We never knew they were going to do a 5000x, but those more obvious plays, I think I'm going to hold them more. And instead of just looking at it every single minute for oh, it's up 5%, or 5,000. You know what I mean? Like looking at the market cap every single minute and seeing the fluctuations. I think I'm just gonna not look at them for a few days because it feels a little safer to do. And that's it. I'm just gonna have my small bag for degen plays. Try to run that up into a few hundred soul. I'm gonna have my longer positions, my medium term positions that I'm really not gonna touch and just let them cook because we've seen even a loose where because we were so eyes on, we probably all sold our bags or mostly sold our bags from it, and now it's at a 260 million market cap. So I'm trying to have less eyes on every single coin, every single minute of the day, and maybe just keep that attention for the shit coins that I'm trading that are really just in and outs, and trying to hold a moon bag even on those. And on my longer term holds, I'm treating them more like a flog now, where I think I'm just gonna not look at them because we were in all these coins and we didn't have the mentality that we do now, where exchanges are listing these coins where 100 mil is the cap or 500 mil is the cap. It's not that anymore. You have unlimited cap almost for a lot of these coins. So I'm not even gonna bother trying to flip out of most of them. And I also have my bag on centralized exchanges that I play with. So my longer term holds like Flog and Pepe are on there, and I'm still, what I mean, looking to see what else I can do on centralized exchanges. But the good thing is we have them way before they even hit a CEX. So mostly I'm just going to concentrate on that. Two bags, one for flipping, one for longer term holds, and I'm going to keep adding to that longer term hold bag. Like anytime I see one has potential, I'll keep a moon bag and throw it into my long term holds. But that's my focus now.
Yeah, I
What's
like
your
that. I think something I've been doing that helps me too. If I like actually have real conviction in something, I just move it to a different wallet, like outside of my Bullx, because Bullx is great. It like shows obviously like a real time price um, of whatever you're in, like up top on like the top bar, and it's super helpful. Um, but I feel like it also like makes me like think about that coin all the time. And if I need liquidity, I kind of like look up there and see, all right, what can I sell from this list usually. But if it's in a different wallet, kind of like tucked away from everything, then I don't think about it as much as like something I should sell for liquidity to get into something else. Um, and I don't it's like prevents me from being emotional too. Like if something like dips a bunch, or even if it like pumps a bunch, I don't like worry about like buying or selling it. Depending on what the current price action is, like the low time frame price action. If I have conviction in it, then I'm just gonna hold it anyway. I would certainly wish I would have done that with Peanut, or with Mudang, or with Lucy, or with Goat. A lot of bags fumbled, but just being in that position, I think obviously, take profits is always a good thing. Keep liquidity on you, but maybe if you don't want to like fully, um, if you don't want to fully exit and you have like real belief that this could go crazy, um, then just put it in a different wallet. Whatever your moon bag is, like don't keep it in your Bullx, so you're not like constantly looking at it, and just like keep it in a wallet that's like tucked away, and like don't check the chart every hour or even every day. Like I have right now, my at the moment, I'll tell you my bags, because why not? Um, I had like my longer term ones are Fwog and Bop, and I just added Mist to it, which there was some dev fudding today. That one's newer, so I'm not 100% sure about that one. And then the Shrub on ETH as well. But I put those all in different wallets just because I don't want to like look at it and like follow along constantly every day. I just have belief that they'll be a lot higher in the future, so I don't need to like try and catch every pump or every dip or whatever.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I kind of been doing the same. As about a week ago, I created a Phantom wallet. I just did three separate ones, like a quick, a mid, and a long, and I try to not look at the long. So I definitely think that strategy has helped me because like you get impulsive and you're like, this is gonna run. So then you swipe out bags and you sell, and then yeah, it helps selling your whole bag for the next play.
Yep.
Yeah, I like
I think anybody.
all right,
Sorry, go ahead,
just
Jake.
one more yeah, just one more thing on that. I for my wallets, I have like a bunch that I used for farming or whatever when we were like doing it was like Solana DeFi season or whatever. So I had like 20 or 30 wallets. And I just like put my hold one like randomly like in the middle, like kind of down the list. So it's like even if I like have my Phantom open, like I can't even see the wallet. And it's kind of just like it's just kind of like a barrier for me where it's like a little bit inconvenience or like not like super easy for me to just like go and quickly click on it. I have to like scroll down and like find it amongst like all my other wallets. And I think that like unironically like actually helps me and hold on because I'm not like it's like takes a little bit it's just like a little extra step um to check on it. And that could be like the same thing if you just send it to like obviously like a hardware wallet too, which is obviously good OPSEC to perform anyway. But yeah, go ahead, Jinza.
Yeah, I like that. We have to trick our impulses, our gambling genetics. We have to trick them. We have to like short circuit them so they don't activate. I like that. I like that idea a lot. So it's all about tricks like that because I mean, we're all guilty of it. I do it too, and I did it. Actually, I had my frog bag split into two. I had a nice amount on Bullocks. My main amount is on my Photon. I mean, my Phantom. I never touch it, but the one I had on Bullocks, I did the same thing with it. It was probably my biggest bag on Bullocks, and I ended up selling it to do. I don't remember what I did with it, honestly. Who knows? I probably lost it all anyway. But you see, if I would have just moved that too, I would have been in good shape now. Because I think Fog did another 3x from the point that I sold it at last week. So yeah, always move your bags if you're gonna hold them. It's just the impulses and impulses to do something quick with it is just so strong. So you need to find ways to counter it a little bit, and so you don't feel like crap like a day later when everything goes to zero and you thought it was a good idea to put a monster bag like 5-6 SOL and a coin that probably got rugged by a dev. But yeah, oh yeah. Actually, while we're on the topic, thank you, Jake, for bringing in that Mugatu or whatever, Mugetsu or whatever it's called. Man, that's been helping us a lot. I see people using it every day, and I think it's helped a few people not get rugged in the last week or so.
Yeah, great shot. Oh no. Oh, I thought one of the coins was pumping that I bought, but it was a different alien coin or whatever. Yeah, that's actually a really good segue. I didn't even have this on the have this on a list of stuff to talk about, but I think it's a really good shout. Yeah, the Mugetsu bot that we have now. Like, there's a lot of commands that you guys probably don't. Honestly, I haven't even like looked through all of them, but they're super helpful. I'll like run through them real quick. I'm gonna use this IC coin that someone shared in here earlier. I think it was Joe or whatever. But there's a ton of commands that you can use for it. So like fresh is a good one. And by the way, this is in shitcoin chat if you're following along right now. Do /fresh and uh, that'll show like all of the new wallets created within the last 24 hours that have like a decent size amount of supply. Um, and also the funding source, like the funding wallet of whatever the wallets are. And a lot of times that can be like bundlers. They'll create like a bunch of new wallets. Um, so it's like another way of like finding bundles. If there's like a bunch of new wallets and they're all funded from like similar sources, that can be a red flag. This one does have. Um, oh yeah, good question, Diecast. What is bundling? Such bundles. It's when like a dev creates a new coin and they just buy a fuck ton of the supply right away on a bunch of different wallets, and it makes it look like the coin is like super distributed on the holder list. Um, but in reality, the dev owns all like a ton of the supply. It's just on a bunch of different wallets, and there's some more advanced bundling tools now where like some like stuff like Deck Screener and even like Bullx could be a lot better in how they handle it in terms of like being able to figure out what the dev holds. Um, but there's bots that you can use. Like there's I think it's pinned in here, but Trench Radar pinned in the shitcoin chat. But Trench Radar has like a bundle check. Mugatu does too, but I don't. But it like doesn't work a lot of the times. I'm not sure if the trench radar one is just like detecting bundles that aren't bundles, or if Mugatu is just like not a good use for the bundles. But yeah, you definitely want to make sure that a coin like it's usually for like brand new coins, right? Like stuff that's launched within the last minute or last like hour or like few hours that they're not super bundled. Meaning like the dev doesn't have like a fuck ton of the supply still, because usually that means the dev's just gonna sell whenever there's a green candle. The dev's just gonna nuke it, and it kind of like reduces obviously the chances by a huge amount that the coin is going to be able to run in the future. So you don't want to buy coins that are super bundled, or if you are like super into the coin, then wait for the dev to sell all of their bundle, or at least a big part of it, before you actually enter. If something's like going crazy right away, there's like a big green candle, like it just migrated pump fund, it's going crazy, and it's still like super bundled, then you can usually expect that you can get a much better entry if you just wait a little bit and wait for the dev to sell all of its bundled supply.
Another good shot on that same vein is the one that's helped me the most is probably the Twitter handle checker. So it's you basically run a command and you can see how many times or how many different names were used for the same Twitter. What a scammer will usually do, or even a dev that likes to continually rug, is they'll just use the same Twitter with all the following already, but scrub it clean, change the handle, and then run another coin through that follower list. So the one thing you can do is check for that to see how many times it got changed and what names they used in the past. And that's probably the most telling way to tell if like a new Twitter is scamming another coin, or I mean a new coin is a scam from a Twitter that people use. That's the one I think I've had the most use for. And another thing you can do, since you want to go as deep as you can with checking for scams, is you go on Pump Fund and you type in the dev's address, the wallet address, and it'll tell you how many coins and which coins he's already launched, right? So those three things are probably the three biggest for me: is the bundle checker, the Twitter handle checker, and checking on Pump Fund to see if that dev has launched other coins from the same wallet.
Um, yeah, really good shout. That one's super useful. I just use it in shitcoin chat on the understand one, and looks like they haven't had any like usually it's for like Twitters that are older, like not like if a Twitter's just was made like this month, then it's probably like just someone just made a brand new Twitter or whatever. You don't really have to worry about it. But if it's like a new coin, and I think it's really helpful if there's like some influencer like that made a new coin and you haven't really heard of this person before, um, then using it on like that influencers or KOLs Twitter, and they have like tens of thousands of followers or whatever, because a lot of times people just buy accounts or they buy followers or whatever. So you can see who it used to be, right? If they just like bought an account and then launched this coin just so they could farm people, right? Um, that happens plenty. So that's a really good use case for it too. Let's see what else is there. There's top holders, which is pretty cool. If you go / top holders, oh, let's see here, and it'll give you all the top. It'll give you the coins, like the big coins that the top holders of a certain coin hold. So this is for understand in shitcoin chat. If you're following along right now, you can see like the number 3 holder of understand also has 52k of La Boo Boo or whatever. The number 6 holder of understand has 5.1 million in PNUT. So there's like a giant PNUT whale. It's just interesting if there's in number 23 PNUT whale as well. So it's interesting if there's like obviously some big wallets in it. That's usually like a pretty good sign, especially if it's a newer coin. That there's some whales getting behind it, because obviously whales can push a coin up easier if they're really bullish on it. And usually whales have whale friends. So that one's pretty cool too. And then there's also holder scan. Let's see here. Time frame 4 hours. 1 day here. You can see holders information. I think this is for actually. I don't use this one a lot. Let's see. Oh, it's not working. But there's a site called Holder Scan. I think on that site, someone has to like um, input the coin for it to work. Here we can do like FWOG instead. That should work. Just so we can get a good idea of what this does. Bear with me. That's loading. Yeah, so you can see the change in holder count over the last 4 hours, 12 days, 1 day, or whatever, to see if like something's dipping. If something's dipped like over the last 24 hours, but they gained a lot of holders, usually like it's not that bad because a lot of people are still buying. Like it might just be like a couple of big wallets are dumping a bunch, but then a lot of new people are entering on a dip. So that's a nice piece of information if you're trying to get into something. Um, yeah, is there anything else? There's some other ones in here too. Mm, yeah, I think you can use like there should be like a way to see like all the commands. I'm not sure off the top of my head. But yeah, any questions around that stuff or anything around the Mugetsu stuff? Um, Cap asks, can you explain the subtle distinction between a scammer and a dev that just likes to rug a lot? Um, I mean, that's like the same
Only
thing,
cap.
I'd say. That was for Jinzo. Okay, Jinzo, go ahead.
Oh, I wish I could, bro. They're in the same bucket for me. This whole space is full of scammers.
I think it's important though that like to note for shit coins, if like a dev that has rugged past coins and they launch a new shit coin on Pump Fund, that doesn't mean like that coin is gonna go to zero. Um, it just like for the most part, people don't care who the dev is. I think it's important to like figure out what kind of coin it is. We've talked about this similarly on a past episode. Um, but if it's a coin, if it's just like a meme, like a viral meme, then like who cares who the dev is? If it's just like some pump fun launch coin, it's gonna do well if the meme itself is funny and people like it and it's viral and obviously the coin's not like crazy bundled or whatever and like goes to zero. Um, then it doesn't really matter who the dev is. Um, in a lot of cases, but there are some cases where it definitely does. Like if for like there's been a lot of these AI coins where it's like a Twitter account or whatever tweeting as if they're AI that's launched. Like for those ones, for example, it's the coin itself is reliant on that like Twitter account, whether it's like being funny or whatever, or it's like some new tech or whatever. It's relying on that Twitter account to like keep tweeting, and it's essentially you're relying on the dev itself to like keep up the project. So there's a ton more risk there that the dev is going to rug um, the project itself, and there's a lot of stuff like that too. Like the artist coins, for instance, are another one. Like you're relying on that artist themselves to not rug the coin. So, which usually the artist is the dev or like the dev's friend or whatever, at least on the team. So there's like the dev risk involved in those type of coins, and I think that's important to like realize when you get a new coin if there is dev risk, and then kind of identifying like credibility of that person. Are they someone who would risk the reputation to rug some like low cap shitcoin? Are they someone who has been in the space plenty and like a lot of people know who they are? And it's like a good likelihood that they will continue um, to build on this project or whatever. I think are like important data points to understand if you are going to get into a coin like that, or if it's just a coin that's a purely meme. It doesn't really matter who's behind it, as long as the community likes it. Then people can just CTO it, and it'll probably do well. Like it doesn't really matter who was the dev that launched it on Pump Fun.
Yeah, good shots all around. I need to get better at analyzing these things too. So it's a learning experience. Even I don't use enough commands. I'm still a bit of a boomer, but I with Mugetsu and other tools that we have now, it's getting much easier. So I'm glad. And I mean, as long as you stay alive, you can make money in this space, and it's all about really just staying alive and not blowing it all on a rug.
Yeah. Um, what was I gonna do? I think it could be helpful if I just screen share and like kind of go through my process, and Jinzo obviously chime in too, of like looking at a new coin that's posted in here, like kind of what I look at least. Uh, 'cause it's hard for me to like think about like all the little data points because a lot of stuff is kind of just like I don't know, just experience. I like glance over. I don't really think about it, but maybe if we go like step by step on something new, it could be helpful. And maybe people will point out some stuff too that I don't look at too, and that'd be great for me as well. Um, let's see here. All right, I'm gonna do this coin that SkyDaddy just posted. Let me share my screen one sec. Da-da-da-da-da. Yeah. For me.
Looking good.
Cool. All right, we got a couple in here I can look at real quick. What was the first one? Oh, I'll do SkyDaddy's. Yeah, I'll walk through my thought process. Looks like it's bonding right now. Maybe it just got done. Oh, about to bond.
A little way
Okay.
to go. The values changed and so went up.
Yes, this one's been around for 41 minutes, so it's not an instant pump. I would expect the dev didn't bundle because usually when they bundle, it goes crazy. But I can always check. I guess I can't check in this window because it's on Telegram, so I can't really do it on screen. We usually go to like Trench Radar, check bundle. Let's see here. Yeah, the meme. I usually click on its pictures so I can see what the heck this is. Just this piece between Harambe, Squirrel, and the Doge dog. I don't really get it right now. I'm not sure what this is. Looking on bundle, yeah, it's not bundled at all, so that's a pretty good sign. It's actually pretty rare for a coin that um, didn't get that's on Pump Fund or whatever. So we'll check it out. See what the Twitter talks about. There's like nothing for it. It feels like there's like literally nothing. I'm at latest in the last 2 to 3 hours ago, and this coin launched 48 hours ago. This is why you a please. Yeah, there's like nothing. Yeah, usually there's at least something. What does this say? All good now. I don't know. I guess it's just saying that. I don't know. This is one I guess I would just like I would watch and see like what people say. Maybe Skydiving knows more, but I don't really understand what the meme is. So we'll move on. Rizal had one too. Let's see
Just
here.
on that though, it's important to realize that where yeah, sure, this might go off, but what exactly are you latching on to for it to go to the higher numbers, right? Like what bucket does this fall in for you? Is it just going to be a quick flip? Probably. I mean, what's behind it to actually make it go any higher, right? When it bundles, I mean, the socials aren't exactly great. You have no information on Twitter about this. It's just a meme that might develop into a good meme, but right now there's nothing really to go on. So you're not really gonna put it into that Moodang or or a peanut bucket, right? I mean, not even what it became, what we were looking at early on when we liked those coins. One thing I do like though, Jake, I don't know if you agree, but it's rare these days to see a coin be on pump fund for this long and just slowly grind up and have this good traction and volume. So that's one thing that stuck out to me with this particular coin, and I think that's what got Skydaddy's attention too. It didn't just skyrocket into oblivion and migrate right away. It stayed there for a little while, grinding up and collecting holders. So that might be one of the reasons it can do well after it migrates.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good shout. Yeah, this is like pretty doesn't usually happen. Like usually stuff that runs, um, usually something that stuff that bonds, I should say, is like pretty quick. But this has been a slow build. It like I mean the chart's really good. So and the holder distribution's like pretty good. It's always going to be a lot more condensed on top when it's like 100 market cap coin. Like that's just how it's going to be because there's less holders. So obviously it's more condensed on the supply when there's less holders. So nothing really stands out to me that's bad here. There's no like there's not like a ton of insider wallets that would have the red rats on this. Um, there's not like top traders where like a bunch bought for like nothing and like dumped everything. Yeah, it looks pretty. I mean, it looks pretty good. I just don't know what it is. I don't really get it.
Yeah, just
So,
for
but I'll
fun, let's
probably just
keep
put
an
it on
eye
the
on
watch
it.
list.
Yeah, let's go to the
Yeah.
next one and come back to this one in a few minutes. See how it reacts on secondary, just for fun.
Um, this is another one that Rizal shared a little bit ago. Um, Fum coin. Can you see? Does it show when I open a new window too?
Yeah, we're seeing the weird image with the mushroom on his head.
I don't know what's going on here. Uh, okay.
Someone did shrooms and thought it would be funny to take a selfie and then put it on pump.
Fum friends. Pump a fum. Guess they're just trying to like play off pump fun. Yeah, they're basically just trying to create a new meme. Seems. Yeah, they're tweeting from like a couple days ago. Is this a? Let's see. This is a good one to check the Twitter reviews. Because they didn't just start this. See if they like had a different project before and they're just launching another. Let's see here. Yeah, it okay. It was 7 months ago. What is going on here?
Maybe they tried to launch a while ago and they didn't like the market conditions, and then like, ah, that amazing meme we had. Let's try now. It's a perfect conditions.
I think there's like a dev. I thought there's usually like a dev one that you can look at with what's it called? Okay. Yeah, I don't get it. I'm not gonna lie. This is another one I don't really get. If I don't get it, I'm not gonna just buy. Um Nothing for fun.
Is Rizal in here right now? Maybe he can give us a little bit of a look at how he scoped this one out and what he thought was good about it. I don't see him here actually. Nah, he just posted it, but he's not in here.
Cool. Yeah, he just scanned it. He didn't say anything. I'm gonna move on to the next one. I don't really Poppy asks, is there a reason I'm getting a different holder count? And what you showed, it's lowered to 22% now. On what was this? On peace? Top 10, 41. Uh yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. Top 10 is 23. Cool. I'm gonna go to the next one. Keep it rolling here. Art City. Oh, this one's ripping right now. This is getting good volume. Okay. Makuku shared this like 3 minutes ago. Let's see. Building Art City Incorporated. Okay, looks like it might be a legitimate artist. Most famous. He's on NBC News. Okay, this is his Twitter account. He launched this coin? Oh, is it? Oh, he's building a town in this. Oh, he did launch this coin. Okay, this is interesting. If he launched it himself, it's a community didn't launch it after him. That's always a good thing. Twitter username. Oh, he just changed his. He was famous artist guy, then art city guy. Yeah, let's check bundle. Sorry, I'm doing this in Telegram, so I can't really do it. Let's see here. Joe's bundled. 13% left right now. I'll post a screenshot in the shitcoin chat or whatever. Yeah, top holders, he has a lot. 12.6%. I don't love that. Unless he burns it, obviously. There's some other really big wallets too. I really don't like that too. This one is 5%. If that's the dev who like transferred 5% to this other wallet, then that would be like super bearish for me. Because he's trying to hide more supply, which means he has bad intentions. Yeah, this is super concentrated up top. I'm not personally looking to ape this right now. I'd kind of like watch and wait. Yeah, top 10 at 41%. I don't. Yeah, Pavi, that's a good call. I don't know why this is showing a different number than this number. Yeah. What do you think? Anyone have takes here?
No, I think you nailed it. It seems a little bit fishy. I don't know. It might just be a front, or maybe he's trying to make a quick buck and not care about crypto or not care about There's a lot of reasons why this might be just a quick like a money grab. A lot of our, you know what I mean? Like it's not just because he's an artist that he can't pull a money grab. He sees the opportunity, he wants to go for it. But I don't like the fact that it's bundled. That means he understands how to actually go and he understands how Soul works and understand how this market works, and he's looking to get max extraction out of it. So that's a little bit of a red flag for me there. The name change itself wasn't too crazy to me, just because he probably just transitioned his main name to the coin name itself, so he can get more, you know what I mean, more traction and look more legit. But in general, I'm looking for bigger name changes than that. But yeah, I don't like the fact that he's bundled and there's a lot of big holders. He probably got a lot of his friends in. And that's probably why we're seeing a lot of top holders. So there's a couple of red flags there to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I think I'd have to dig more into this to see if this dude's is the real deal or not. Let's see. Yeah,
Well,
for these
Makubu
artists, I
says,
guess
yeah, go ahead,
usually
sir.
like they have other artists that I follow that I don't have like a ton of artists that I follow just because I want to keep my my feed clean, and artists like will spam their art a lot on the feed. But I do have like a good amount. There's a couple, I guess. Like I think wait, no, this guy. Oh no, he's NFT now.
He
Yeah,
could
there's
have
no
got
other
hacked.
artists that follow this guy. Like that's kind of a red flag to me. If he
Yeah.
was an artist, usually other artists follow him who's
That's
known
a good
enough.
point. Makuku says maybe he got hacked. I mean, it could be. Like a lot of the times we see that, right? We fell into that trap with that whole Russell thing too, where Brian Armstrong's girlfriend got hacked, and we thought it was a legit name for the dog. And they're clever, these hackers. So you never know. It could be a possibility too. Never out of the question.
Yeah, he like didn't say anything about why he's building, like why he's dropping this token. I think that's like a red flag. Like this seems like it would be a hack because there's like, oh yeah, here's a token on my thing that I'm doing. Um, but he like didn't give an explanation like why do you need a token? So yeah, I think it's pretty sketchy, but fun to watch as well. Cool. I don't know if that was helpful at all. I'm gonna stop streaming.
Having a good time here. Watching this. So like when IC launched today, there was all like these IC coins that started popping off, and I didn't want to be like pestering people like, well, which CA. So like besides market cap, can you just share your screen and kind of explain like how would you determine the winner when there's like so many of those ICs popping off?
Yeah. I can share again. One second.
Tonka, the first thing you gotta do is take Rickbot off of. You have to unblock Rickbot, bro. That's the number one thing you gotta do, and then from there it gets a little easier.
Blocked Rickbot? Why?
He probably didn't like the spamming of it, or maybe it's probably the replies and stuff. You know how he gets a little snarky with people and it drowns out the chat. I'm thinking it's more of that, right, Tonka?
Yeah, it just blocks it out, but like you could always just click into it, right? Um, but like the IC,
Okay.
there was so many popping off. I just didn't know like how to determine it for yourself, which one.
Yeah, I would look at I mean volume's usually the biggest thing, I'd say, and unless it's like manufactured. Usually the one getting the most volume is the one that's gonna do well. But yeah, I mean it's hard. Like if you're like buying it right away, then that's just a risk you're taking, right? If you want to get a good entry. If you're like trying to get a good entry, then the risk that you're taking is it could get PvP'd away. So you just have to understand that. But as far as like finding the one, I would say like volume is the biggest one. Like look at holder count too. Like this holder's down here, like whatever has the most. I can't even find the other ones right now on BullX. Like won't even it doesn't even pull up the other stuff. I guess because it's only 2 letters, so it's not like a
Yeah,
unique
I was
enough
typing in like
names.
immaculate, with like whatever the full thing is that that White House lady said.
Immaculate. What was it? Immaculate Constellation.
Another one for me to check is usually if there is PvP going on, I'll probably gravitate to the one that got launched earlier, like the first one, because that's always going to be one of the big arguments for people trying to fight for holder count and PvPing it on socials. Is they're always going to be like, buy the real one, we launched first. So that's one of the things I look for. Honestly, I'll probably just stay away from PvP and just wait till one identifies itself. But like we saw yesterday with that, I forgot the name of it. Was it the there's one that was it the monkey one? Oh, Georgie. Yeah, it was Georgie. That one there was two launched almost identical, like maybe 10 minutes apart from the exact same dev wallet, and they were PvPing each other. That's the first time I had seen that, but that's something we might see more and more going forward, where a dev wants to capture all the attention and make, I guess, fees on PvP and being able to dump 2 coins that he holds and controls. And we saw that yesterday with Georgie, where one of them ran, and then that one crashed, and the other ran. The other one had social spread and everything, and they both kind of PvP'd each other in the 3 to 5 to 10 million range for a few hours. And even this morning, I haven't checked yet, but if I go check both Georgies, they're probably, I don't know, doing something weird and shady. Both of them kind of swapping volume again. So, yeah, there's a lot of weird things happening right now with these launches.
Um, yeah, that was so annoying with the Georgie stuff. That's like that usually doesn't happen, where like there's a very clear winner and then one just comes in out of nowhere. But it does happen sometimes, and that's like super unfortunate. Like it can be hard to like anticipate something like that.
We have
A lot of times
one
it's
at
like
12
behind the
point.
scenes cabal stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what this looks like. We have one that's at 12.5 million, one's at 4.5 mil. When's the last time you saw that? One of them has 58 million volume, the other one has 40 million volume. I've never seen 2 coins from the same dev with the same name do this ever. Always one dies and one lives usually.
Um, yeah, but on BullX, again, I like BullX a lot. I feel like Photon is pretty bad at this. They like kind of show you a lot of the shitty ones up top, whereas BullX will filter by volume up top when you look at this. So like you can see the highest volume is 529. I'm not sure exactly what that is. That might be like 24-hour volume. I'm assuming that's what it is. 87, 24, whatever. So usually the one at the top is going to be the real one because it has the highest volume. And why I do volume is because that's just like the most money traded. So usually like the like where volume flows is most of the time. It's not always the case because there is shit like a Georgie thing can happen where like people decide they want to pump another one out of nowhere. Because this is super low market cap stuff. Like it doesn't take a crazy amount of money for whales to do something like that. But usually, um, like volume determines like what is gonna be in because there's just more people who have put up more money into a coin, so they're more invested, so they're more willing to push that specific coin and more willing to fight for that coin. Uh, and usually there's more holders and stuff too. So I look at the volume for sure. I look at the holder count between the two. Usually more holders the better, obviously. Um, but yeah, I mean you can also just wait a little bit too if you don't want to try and like gamble on which one gets PvP'd and just see which one is like winning out after a little bit.
Cool, thanks. And I guess one more thing: how much are you worried about like these ETH meme coins? Because when that Doge stuff happened yesterday, everyone started showing like the ETH coin, uh, um, and then the Sol one popped off. So like, are you like flip flopping chains or
No, um, not usually. I'm not a big fan of playing that. I think like for instance for yesterday example, the ETH one was already established for a long time, and that was like the very clear winner already, and then the people were just making Soul because they wanted to like catch up pump like cope type of play. And usually those just don't last. You're just like that's just like pure gamble in my opinion. You're just like hoping to quickly make a quick dollar swing trade on that because it's probably going to go back down. It's just not going to like reach the level of the ETH one because I feel like the ETH one already had like way too big uh, of mind share, and exchanges aren't going to list both. They'll only list one, and it's very likely that they'll only list the ETH one in that terms. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
usually it's
been
just like what's first and what's getting the most momentum on that chain. But it is unfortunate. It certainly happens. There's definitely when you're dealing with coins that are like a big viral meme, then like there's for sure going to be coins launched on both ETH and Sol every single time. It's just kind of like following where the volume is and where the attention is, like who is pushing which coin. Like if there's big players who have a lot of influence that are pushing the certain chain or whatever, then obviously that helps out that specific one.
Yeah, I was just going to say as well. Sorry, I'm just going to chime in for a little bit. We saw it with Shrub. Like I invested a lot in Shrub on Sol and ETH. I think Sol Shrub was like I don't know, like 30 mil or some shit like that. And then the Shrub on ETH was like 3 mil or I don't even remember what. But
Mhm.
it's just like yeah, it just took the volume away, and now obviously the Shrub on Sol is dead, and the Shrub on ETH is like 110 mil, which is like pretty wild. That's like the most recent case I've seen where there's been a coin that's obviously won, and then it's like lost all momentum, and then the other chains actually beat it.
Yeah, that was a brutal one. Um, I'm similar. I had a bunch of the Scrub
Oh, me
on
too, dude.
Soul.
Me too. Trust me. It
Uh,
was painful to watch. But I mean, people told me to buy the ETH shrub at like 6 mil, and I didn't. So it's my fault at the end of the day as well. But still
I know
tilting
I
that
should have
one
done
with
the
30
same
mil.
thing too.
Yeah.
I saw Pow was like shit started showing the ETH one. I should have probably switched when I saw that because
Yeah.
he's usually or Pow. I fucking forget his name, but he's usually a good indicator. He has a lot of Cabal friends as well, and they usually will do their part to make sure whatever coin in that PvP will win that they
Yeah.
pick. Yeah, good to have you, GVN. Glad you made it. Is it really early
Yeah, no,
morning there?
I woke up at 5 a.m. and I checked my phone and I saw like 40 people in VC, and then I realized what was going on. But yeah, no, it's still like 6:30. But yeah, I'm trying to adjust my sleep so I can enjoy both night crew and day shift as well. It's hard. It's hard because there's so much going on.
I'm sure, man. It's good to
Yeah,
have you. Um,
yeah. Thanks, bro. It's been
while you're
insane.
here,
Like, yeah,
while you're here, I want to congratulate you on obviously the MVP, but also
yeah.
what led
Thanks.
to it, all the runners that you've been posting, some big
Yeah.
wins. Would you want to like kind of go through a little bit? I'm sure people would want to hear like a little bit of what your process is for like finding new stuff.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna
Yeah, I
fucking
know it's
try.
early for you.
But
Sorry, I know
my
it's maybe
process
that's a
is
lot of
so
brain power.
cooked, and I know no one will believe me. But so basically, um, so when I'm on pump fun and stuff like that, having a seizure from the feed, I use that feed and that like those bumps as indicators. It's a weird process that I go through, but I look at like the virality of a meme. I look at the volume on a meme. I'm opening like 10 charts probably like every 5 minutes and just like reviewing them. I'm not a like a technical analysis guy at all. Like I don't know what I'm doing, so it's really hard for me to describe how I can actually pick these ones. It's more of like I normally go down to gut feel. So it's like I see the volume in some of the coins. I check like dev wallets. I check bundling, but I don't check it too often. Um, but yeah, thanks for the compliments, guys. What the fuck? Um, and yeah, I mean, there was like certain memes that I picked. I think Mahari or whatever the fuck that dolphin was called.
Yep.
Yeah, I picked that one simply because of the CTO that I knew about. So I bought the ETH one. That was the craziest wake up I've had to date for sure. I bought the Mahari at like 55K on ETH, and the only reason I bought is because I actually really like the meme and I like the virality of what it looked like. I honestly thought I invested like 100 Sol into the Sol one because I honestly thought that it was going to be massive, and I was obviously over invested in the Sol one, but
Yeah.
it just goes to show if you had that much conviction in PNUT, and if I did at that point, then yeah, things would be different. But it's everything's obviously better in hindsight. But yeah, basically, yeah, my strategy, man, is just to open each chart, like view the volume, view the holders, check if the dev is still holding, check if the dev is active, see if there's socials. Obviously, sometimes socials don't even matter though. It's yeah, sometimes it's just pot luck. But yeah, there's I wish there was a method I could give people, but honestly, it's just looking at the memes, especially with like animal memes. I'm pretty good at spotting those. I'm pretty good at picking them. I missed a couple, like obviously I've missed Georgie and shit. I bought Georgie on secondary, but um, yeah, that October was pretty crazy for me, like in terms of picking coins, and yeah, I picked a couple this month, not as much as fucking Sky Daddy has, but yeah, I think the way of scanning is like developing, and it's pretty fun to see, to be honest. Like yeah, it's like I said, I wish I had something to give you guys, but yeah, it's it's literally just gut feel sometimes.
No, I feel you. That's great. Is there, yeah, Chelsea, you asked exactly what I was just gonna ask. Is there like, are you using like Bullx? Are you
Uh,
using like Photon? Like, what are you looking when are you focused on um like stuff like before they bond, or is there
yeah,
like a
yeah,
market cap range that that's what you're focused on?
yeah. So I focus on it pre-bonding, just simply for the fact of the risk is much lower and the upside is much higher. Like obviously, I'm not going to
Yeah.
invest 10 Sol into a coin that's 20K market cap, but if you can catch stuff with like, I don't put more than like zero point 0.5 into one because I just feel like at that point you're sort of gambling Sol, which to be honest, is what we're kind of doing anyway. But it's more calculated guesses. So I wish, yeah, Chelsea, I wish I had a tool that I was gonna be like, yeah, this tool helps me out. But honestly, it's I have Pump Fun open on my screen. I watch flashing lights, and that's literally how I determine shit. And I open charts and just keep looking at different memes that pop up and see if they have like I laugh at it personally. I'll be buying it, and normally everything I scan here I
Yeah.
buy. I don't shill stuff that I don't buy, and I'm normally pretty open with when I sell. So yeah, there's no real tool for my personal method. I feel like Sky Daddy has a lot, like me, like watching him. He has like a knack for actually scanning them properly, if that makes sense. So like he analyzes them a bit better than I do, which is why his picks and runners pretty decently. Because I think the way he chooses as well is pretty impressive in my opinion. But yeah, there's no real tool. Open Pump Fun, open Photon. Probably should get into BullX to be honest, but I've just been too lazy to do so. I've just gotten so used to Photon. It's still pretty shit, but it's gotten better over time. So
Yeah, Photon's not bad. I really liked Photon. I'd say when I did use it, I was like, oh, this is like a big upgrade on Telegram bots. But then like people kept telling me about BullX. I was like, all right, I'll just try BullX out too. And I was like, oh, I like this even more. So it's not like Photon's bad. I just like BullX even more because it just has some additional features that Photon doesn't that help a bit.
Yeah. And I think I like it as well, to be honest. I've just, like I said, I've just been too lazy, and like there's just like 70 memes popping off a day, and it's like I'm just trying to focus on the market. And once there's a little bit of downside, like I saw Fred at 3.5 million bottom, like it's almost 200 mil in like I don't know how many days. Like I feel like I've aged 100 years in 2 days, man. It's fucked. Like the market is going so fast. It's like NFTs on like hyper speed. Like it's really hard to keep track of all the coins that are pumping and shit like that. But I've learned now, like obviously everyone's had fumbles and stuff like that. I think PNUT is going to be probably everyone's largest this cycle, in my opinion, because that I don't think there's going to be a meme like that where Elon, Trump, all these guys all shill it. I think it's probably it was all very obvious to everyone, but it's only obvious until it's obvious, right? Until it's 1.5 bill in like a day, But
yeah, I'm right there with you, man. PNUT was.
Yeah,
I had
$2
I
million,
definitely had
man.
at least.
I mean,
Like
not as much as you. That
before.
you I saw your success post, and I was like, fuck yeah. And then today it's like, fuck.
Yeah, I know. It hurts a little bit, I know, but I don't know. I'm like numb to it now. I just feel like we're still really early in the cycle. There's just gonna be so many more plays. I think you can analyze it for sure. You can look back and learn from it. But I don't think beat yourself up on it. Like there's always gonna be something new. I think if you dwell too much on like what you lost, then you're just gonna miss.
100%.
You're gonna miss the new stuff, right?
Yeah, we'll dwell on shit that we held at like 300k market cap, and now it's 100 million. But we all know that like deep down, if we were in it at 300k and we like had the choice to sell for 100,000 profit, 99% of people would do it. Like it takes a certain type of person with a certain sort of bankroll to hold a coin that's already like up like $100,000, and you're like, nah, this could go to 10 million. You know what I mean? Like it takes a certain type of person, and you either have mentality like that or a certain type of bankroll. Like you need, it's.
No, that's a really good point. I think a lot of people see that like these huge wins, and they're like, oh, like I gotta hold for the 1000x or whatever. And
I don't
like
see the losses, man.
vast majority of the time it doesn't work. Like usually you want to build up your bankroll to a point where you can comfortably just like set some aside that you really are like bullish on, and then but you still have plenty of liquid to like try for new opportunities too if that one doesn't work out. Whereas like a lot of times people can hold a little bit too much and it's like way too big a percentage of what their portfolio is. And then
Yeah.
they like stress like crazy off it. But like usually when the wins that people are having, like they've already had like some big wins in the past, and
Yeah.
that's why they're comfortable holding this for so long. Is like it's not gonna like materially like absolutely like change things.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
And I think with Peanut, for example, like it was only 2 weeks. Like if somebody bought something at 300K and left for 2 weeks, which is probably what some person has done. To be honest, there'll be a few people that have done that. That obviously is like hitting the jackpot. In my opinion, that's hitting hitting a jackpot. If you went away for 2 weeks, or like even bought it and then a week later was like, oh, I'll just have a break for a bit. Like that's in my opinion, that's hitting the lottery. Like it's not it's a lot more calculated than hitting the lottery, obviously, because there's certain factors that come into it. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's very hard to it's very hard to buy a coin at 300K market cap and sell at 1.5 billion. Like it's almost unheard of, and I guarantee you, majority of people have taken profit on the way up. So
Yeah. Web3 Quant said something that resonated with me. It was if you like 3 5x's in a row, like if you just roll them over equal 125x. Like if you
yeah,
hit a 5x, roll that over to another 5x, roll up to another 5x, that's 125x, and that's gonna be a lot easier to hit than
yeah,
just like holding for 125x. So I think that's what some people I think have in their brain. They're like, oh, like this is the coin, like that's gonna make 120. Like I gotta hold this for 125x. Like a lot of times it doesn't work.
correct.
Um,
Yeah,
but it's much easier to build up that bankroll with smaller multipliers over the long run.
yeah, that's what I'm learning. Conviction plays are definitely where it's at, and it's about building. I feel like these micro caps for me were like building bankroll because I was trying to stay like I was trying to use one soul and turn it into 1,000. That's pretty much my goal at the moment. So my bankroll I've always limited. I have bankroll obviously elsewhere. I just don't want to put it into these coins because I know what happened last time. I did that like in like the nub era and all that type of stuff when we were a bit earlier to that cycle as well. I made a bit on nub, but I went too ham and I bought too many coins that I thought would do a nub, and obviously I lost more than I actually made. So um, yeah, it's me limiting myself, but not limiting myself to the point of not gambling on coins that I think will do well. But now I have the bankroll from that one soul to start having conviction plays, and Toby was like one that Dog sort of told me to purchase. So I bought like a 1.5 or something, 1.2, and now it's like 9.3, and I haven't even like I took initials out because I'm still trying to build bankroll, but I haven't even looked at that moonbag since. Yeah, it's it's slowly getting in my head that it's much better doing like size plays on meme coins that you truly do believe in, because I think Nub was one for me. Like Nub was like the easiest hold of my life, and I held it from like 10 mil to 170 or something, and I don't ever do that. So Nub was like it was like a rare coin for me, and I always like dwelled on it, and I always like try to compare it to Nub, and then I don't know, I just went like way too middle curve on all my thoughts. Try to sell for like one sold profit, buy back for like 0.5. Like it's just it's not even worth the mental strain.
Great shouts, man. And they're just that's how it is. Yeah, someone just
Yeah,
posted
dude.
the pocket change just posted Bowman. That was the one that the first one in the middle of the bear that really like blew my mind. We were all here. Some people had the pre-sale, right? And it just ran instantly. It went. I think it launched on secondary at like 3 million around there. It stayed there for a little while, but shot up pretty quickly to the 15, 20 million range. And then by the next day or the day after, like 2 days max, it was over a billion, and it got picked up by Binance right away. That was like the first instance of foreshadowing we had for Binance getting a little loose with it. I think it was Binance. I'm pretty sure it was Binance that listed this right away.
Yeah, and I think Bone for me and a lot of other people was like, I bought I bought at like 3 mil and sold at 18, and I was like, fuck, I'm a genius. And yeah, it just goes to show if you hold for another 24 hours, God knows what will happen. But yeah, it was obviously hard to predict. Yeah, there was a lot of whales in it, and I didn't even know who Dark Farms was. Like, I guess it's more so knowing the market as well in those situations. Like, if you know certain people, or like you're familiar with who they are, then there's obviously an edge that you have. But um, I do use X as well. I do lie. I don't just use Pump Fun, but I do use X sometimes just to search if any influencers or anything like that are pumping microcaps. I don't do it often though, but yeah, sometimes when there's one that goes from 5k to 83k almost immediately, and there's no like sus wallets or anything, I normally do go onto X. Or so I was similar. I don't know how I caught I, to be honest. It was flashing my news feed, and I opened it and looked at the X that they had posted on there, and so the guy had 81k, and he had posted the pump plum directly. So I bought immediately after that, and I wasn't sure because majority of people get hacked. So it's hard as well to use X because people get hacked and they post pump funds all the time. So, but that was one contributing factor where I saw it, and he had a large following, and he kept pushing the same coin at like 83k, and I was so confused. But I bought anyway, and it was worth the gamble. But yeah, it could have easily have gone to zero if it was a hack. So
I like X2, and I use it in a little bit of a different way where, well, similar way, but I try to follow the people that care about their reputation and don't just show any garbage. And if they start talking about something, and it's the same little, like if you see them and all their friends talking about it, like when Mog popped off and there was K Money, Thread Guy, and a bunch of other of these like little influencers that do content, they were all talking about it, so it became like an obvious play. I try to look for that. Like Earl was the same thing. I got into Earl at 10 million, and it felt kind of high at the time, right? Like a week or so ago, it felt kind of high, and I got in. Why? Because I felt like my alarm went off. But yeah, sorry. I told myself, no way they're going to shut up about this. They're just going to keep promoting it and keep pushing it because they're working for their bags. And at the same time, it's not going to be just one that just dumps out of nowhere because they don't want that to happen. They don't want to rest their reputation on one coin. They're not people that usually shill coins incessantly. They're going to stick to one like they did with Mog, like they did now with Earl. And I look at that as an indicator. Earl was the most obvious play to me, but what happened, right? We got distracted by everything else in the market. I ended up selling my Earl for who knows what now. Like it might have even been PNUT. I went in for a flip on another coin, and obviously Earl was dipping because PNUT and other coins were running like crazy. And what happened was that was the time to buy, right? Because while everybody's zigging, you got to zag. And then I mean, a week later, here we are, and Earl is the next coin to the 50 million market cap, and you know what I mean. It's starting to become more established. So yeah, you got to know who to look at. It's not just anybody on on Twitter, and it's not just like, oh, these 15 accounts talked about it, and I know nothing about them. Let me buy this coin now. It has to be the right ones that actually care about their reputation, right? So, I do look at Twitter too, but I'm more specific on who I look at.
yeah, for sure.
GVN, good day. I got a question about your Pippin thing. I remember before you said like you bought it first at 30 for like 0.2 Sol, and then you said you rebought it 2, and then you dropped the hammer at 4 million. So can you just sort of explain like what are you looking at? What indicator are you looking at before like you really drop the hammer? And that maybe Jay, could you put up the Pippin chart on the thing? Just so maybe it'll help them. I don't know.
No, I can describe it because like I said, like my TA is really shit. I'm more like like fundamental analysis. That's where I thrive, I think. So initially I bought Pippin. Yeah, I bought Pippin on Pump Fund at like 30k, just simply because I saw the volume there. I didn't check anything, and as cringy as it sounds, I thought the unicorn was pretty funny. So I bought for 30k, but I told everyone, and I sold as well. I sold at like 45k because I thought it was a farm. There's so much volume. Didn't do any research. Didn't look at anything. And then immediately went to 83k. So I was like, something's up. This wouldn't have happened. and I saw the wallets. It wasn't super bundled. Like there were still bundles and stuff, but it wasn't super bundled. So I went and dug a little bit deeper, and had a look and saw that there was a guy that was shilling it, but it wasn't obviously the actual bloke just yet. So I think that's where the shift was. So there was a single guy shilling this coin, and he shared who the person was. It was a bit like a bunch of AI type of stuff. I don't know, AI plays have been pretty big recently. I found the unicorn funny, so I rebought. I rebought between, I can't remember when I bought. I think I bought a little bit of 100k, a little bit of 400k, and then yeah. So I left that. I didn't do anything with it, and then I sold it a mil, and then I actually researched the person that actually created it, and I didn't realize who it actually was. So I think I can't even remember when he posted his wallet and when he created a wallet. I don't remember when that was. I think it was around 3 mil. So the guy actually endorsed the coin. Well, he didn't endorse the coin directly, but he like indirectly endorsed it because he created a Solana wallet, and then people sent a bunch of supply to him. I know that's like not really like an indicator, but I took the gamble on him actually him sort of gambling on his own coin, if that makes sense. Like there was so many. I think there was like 4 or 5, but this one had the most volume by far, and I feel like that's always an indicator, is when you see a large amount of volume going into one coin. They're more likely to support a coin that's at a higher market cap. I feel like if you're trying to pull some OG shit, and I've said it a bunch of times in chat, the OG shit just needs to die in a hole. Like we can all win if people just stop buying OG shit and just buy the coin that's got the volume. Like we kill it. I think Maharu is like a pure example of killing a coin. Like everyone was like, "Oh, buy the OG," and that went to like 6 mil, and then this one dumped. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. But yeah. So he created the Solana wallet. So I took that as a chance to dive at that coin, at 4 mil. I've taken profit since then, obviously, and I didn't think, if I knew it was going to go to 60 mil, obviously I wouldn't have been selling. But I think it had a higher chance just because he has a massive VC funding. And then when he actually endorsed the coin, I knew that his reputation is way too large for him to pump something and then sell it for 300 profit. So for me, it was like so easy to hold this coin, from 8 mil, because it's his whole reputation, and he's got a massive VC fund. So yeah, the fundamentals on this one were pretty easy for me to hold this one. I have conviction in. Obviously, I wish I had conviction a bit more than I actually do sometimes, but it's part of learning, man. So yeah, so initially bought at 30k, thought it was a farm, sold, bought at 100 and 400 because it gained a little bit more volume, sold at a mil, just purely off profit. And then he created the Solana wallet, and that's when it sort of flipped for me. My whole idea on the coin flipped, because he can bring VC into it, he can develop it, and I think that was like a massive turning point for the coin in general, and I think that's why it has so much volume now. I honestly think it'll still perform like Lucy and Fred. It's still at 50 mil, and I've seen this a million times, and I'm not swaying from it this time because I bought Lucy, I bought Fred. Like, it's just, that's how I came to the conclusion that it was actually going to be a decent coin. It's just based on his reputation alone, to be honest.
Conference call. I don't know, someone in the group.
Was that Melon? Who was that?
That was Napoleon. He had a hot mic.
Oh.
I muted him. Yeah, awesome rundown, Vivian. Appreciate you joining us, and Going through it, even though it's the wee hours of the morning there. I'm assuming.
Yeah, 7 a.m. But yeah, I
Okay.
don't know. I woke up at like
Okay.
4. You know how it goes. Like you're on your phone at like 2 a.m., 4 a.m.
Yeah.
checking charts. I've been doing a lot less recently, but like my body clock is still always stressing when I'm sleeping. But yeah, I got to go to work soon,
Who
which kind of
sleeps
sucks.
anymore anyway?
Yeah, dude, I know. That's what I mean. Like it's at this point, I may as well just take a bunch of fucking Adderall and just stay awake for 4 days straight, and then go into hibernation for another 4 days. But then I'll wake up and I'll regret sleeping for those 4 days. It's just like a repeating cycle. You miss everything. It's fucked.
Good thing about a bull market is you can kind of not be there all the time and just pick your spots. I mean, there's things happening every day. We just torture ourselves because we don't want to miss anything. But yeah, we don't have to. We don't have to get this crazy with it either.
Yeah, no, I think everyone could go. Like, I know I'm pretty numb to it. I think a lot of people are less numb to their lost, like their W's that they should have had. I think yeah, we ponder too much on what we should have, and just we don't focus on what we can get. So my advice to anyone that's like, fuck, I just fumbled $1 million. Yeah, I mean, you probably would have never had that $1 million if you weren't in meme coins in general anyway. Like, obviously, there's people here that probably have large businesses. I'm just saying in crypto, if there's a coin that you buy at 300k market cap and goes to $1 billion and you sold it, and you sold at 10 million, don't beat yourself up about it, because like any normal human being would do the same thing. Just try and focus on building your bankroll, and then after you've built the bankroll, buy coins that you actually think can do well, and then hold those coins, and make sure you don't have like a crazy amount of coins that you're sort of like always, if you're watching the chart consistently and you're worrying about it going up and down, that's when you know you're overinvested. You need to pull back on how much you have in there, and just enjoy the ride. And you'll only enjoy the ride if you're not overinvested, because once you're overinvested, you're pretty much saying like, if this coin doesn't do well, I'm pretty much done. So you don't want it to get to that point. This game is like a survival game. As everyone knows here, we've been here since 2021 and we all survived, and this is another cycle where it will go and come really fast in terms of market caps. So just yeah, with that being said, I just put 10 Sol into a 25k market cap, and I'm going to hold it until 300 billion.
Oh God.
No.
What's the ticker? What's the ticker?
I just saw Pocket's thing.
Yeah, awesome rundown. Great show today, man. We're at like hour and 40 minutes here. I think we can probably wrap it up as far as the show goes. But obviously, you guys can continue to chop it up here in VC. I love it. It's feeling like olden days, man, in MVHQ.
Oh, dude, I miss
let's go
2021
back.
where everyone was on just calling NFT drops. Like that shit
Hell
was
yeah.
that shit was a movie, man. That was crazy.
I think we'll get back there here real soon, man.
Yeah, it feels like I woke up and I was like, what just happened to the market? I just saw like every meme was up. Like I looked at Fred's chart and I just didn't know what to say. Like fuck
Yeah,
me.
it's wild.
Ugh.
Yeah. We can end it here. Thanks y'all for coming out. Every Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, we run the show, so can always get into it more. But yeah,
I'll have to change
obviously,
my schedule, I reckon, so I can make it.
Yeah, man, we'd love to have you every week. Be awesome.
For sure.
All right, well, thanks y'all. I gotta hop off here. But yeah, thanks for joining us. Keep chopping it up.
Take
Cheers, man.
care, everyone. Good show.
Thanks, Jake.